All right, Virgos, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is going to be for January 4th through the 10th of 2016. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to this type of astrology, do check the description down below because the signs are different. All right, Virgo, so this week, a lot going on astrologically, and usually a mixed energy as there is when there's a lot going on. And a lot of it's shifting. We've got Mercury going retrograde here on Tuesday, and Jupiter going retrograde both Thursday and Friday here around middle of the night on Thursday for most of us. So a lot of shifting in regards to that. And then we also do have a new moon on Saturday, which is heralding a lot of new beginnings in general. So this week, the dying down kind of energies as we approach those new beginnings. And as you can see here, a lot going on astrologically with the aspects. So it all starts on Tuesday when that slowing down Mercury squares up to Mars. And so this has been already ongoing. There's been perhaps a lot of drive and ambition for you guys lately, maybe to pursue your goals, but to take care of things maybe as it usually is with your first house of Virgo. So with that, it's important to bring that extra attention to that. Also extra attention to the communications and the deeper aspects of life with Mars ruling both your third and your eighth. And with Mercury, slowing down in your fourth, maybe you've been thinking a lot about home and family lately or more focused on it, or maybe about health and things in regards to your roots. So this is going to be an area of reflection for you. And while he's stationed, it's important to have that patient approach with Mars, to kind of do that patient thing with the goals and drives and all of that. But like I've been saying, it can be very constructive. And it's always a good time too, with Mercury retrograde and for the next few weeks, to really reflect on just life in general, because it is your ruler. So your goals, your drives, your ambitions, all this sort of Mars energy too, and maybe even in regards to your career. Mercury rules your 10th house. So usually when Mercury goes retrograde, it's a time to reflect on you and your public life or your career life in some sense. But it's all in the area of home and family, how you can maybe have more of that awareness there, how you can improve that particular area or whatever it is with that fourth house. And this is where the new moon's going to be. So there's a lot of new beginnings in regards to these roots in your life later in the week and into next week. So that's beginning the week with that sort of slowing down, maybe with yourself. It's always a good time to reflect with your ruler retrograde. And then Venus does also square up to Neptune as well. So here with this, Venus recently last week went into your third house of communications. Now, although that's been a very serious area for you with Saturn since the later part of 2015 at least, really working hard maybe on the correspondence, maybe on communication, maybe in regards to anything practical that you're involved with, reading, writing, sharing, what have you. But lately with Venus here, it's easier. Venus, a benefic, tends to kind of lift that energy up. So with that enjoyment this week, Venus squaring up to Neptune, it's important to stay nice and grounded with anything that you are involved with in regards to that communication or correspondence or practical things which you have been building. Okay, and that's because Venus squaring up to Neptune sometimes gets a little bit idealistic, a little bit ungrounded, and it might be in terms of your work or your health or your diet, your daily activities in some sense, which is Neptune transiting that sixth house of yours. So keeping everything on the ground with that, and then as Venus gets closer to Saturn, it's how you can maybe take some of these ideas, some of these ideals about the work or the health or the routine, and how to apply it in that more practical way of the third house, maybe more in terms of the correspondence, the social aspects, and things like that. And Venus does rule your second house of finances, material stuff, your values. Okay, so it's in regards to that, being nice and grounded with those things, as well as with what's possible with Venus ruling your ninth house also, maybe your philosophy and stuff like that. All right, and it can be very constructive, like I said, especially later in the week. So that's the very early part, and then as we go through the middle part of the week, the sun does go over Pluto and squares up to Uranus. And this is essentially heralding this new moon because this new moon is going to be associated with those same aspects. So as we approach that new moon, middle part of the week, there is that transformation. For you, it's usually a spiritual transformation since the sun does rule your 12th house. So you're transforming spiritually. It's important to be open to the ebb and flows of life and to see the bigger picture. And that's been quite expansive already with Jupiter transiting that 12th. But the change is really going to be in regards to your home, family, your roots, your health perhaps for a lot of you. as it has been over the past many years, particularly the past few years with Pluto squaring up to Uranus. And so it's another gateway of that, another opening. And to be very grounded too with the relationships, the sun will be squaring up to Uranus. So there is some sort of freedom, some sort of insight that maybe you're gaining about one-to-one connections this week. How you can have more freedom through those one-on-one connections. Have that more independent energy there. And that's great. It can be very freeing. Maybe there's something that you're freeing quite literally with an existing or a new relationship. So staying grounded with it though, long term, and patient with the square energy as is the case, and being open to any new beginnings and changes with your emotional body, with your roots, with your past, with your home, family, your personal life in many regards. So as we also approach that new moon, we are going to have that Jupiter going retrograde. So here there's, over the past 6 or so months, there's been a lot of expansion with your spirituality. Maybe learning more about that ebb and flow, maybe the Christed Buddhic teachings as it usually is with the 12th. But whatever it is for you, how you can have that alone time, that rest and relaxation usually comes easier with a Jupiter in the 12th, or at least you're learning more about that stuff. But now with a retrograde over roughly the next 5 months, it's a good time to go within and reflect on your spiritual connection to God, to the universe, to anything larger than, essentially however you see the entire web of existence and the creator. So that's all that stuff that's going retrograde. Also how you can have more alone time, that peace and presence in your life, as well as maybe even reflecting on those relationships and home and family stuff. Jupiter rules both that 4th and that 7th house that's going to be in that square position. So over the next 5 months, there's something shifting this week that over these next 5 months you can learn more and reflect more and perhaps redo and rehash some of these home things, family things, foundations in your life, as well as maybe reflecting on how you see relationships in general. So definitely a good time to go within in regards to those areas. But it's all expanding you spiritually in that sense. Now, also on Friday, the sun will be sextiling up to Chiron, so it could be quite spiritually healing, in fact, on Friday. And then Friday and Saturday, Venus goes over that Saturn, like I was saying. So it's a good time to see how you can enjoy and take seriously the communication or the social aspects, the learning, the exchanging in life. So then on Saturday, to top off the week, we do have that new moon in your 4th. So there are new beginnings with your roots, with those foundations. It's a good time to reflect on that. And again, be open to change with that Pluto and be open to seeing how you can have more freedom there in a grounded way and maybe freedom in those relationships as well. All right, Virgo, so have a great week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.